It's 1973. I'm 12 years old, and my dad has decided to take my brother and myself camping to a place in New York called Camp Ernest. Now, my brother was 18 and he was getting ready to leave for his first year of college in a few days. And my dad thought, how about one last hurrah with the boys? My mother and sister gladly bowed out of the picture. Anyway, we went to this one camp in New York State, and like regular camps, you had your family camping where you would have probably a half an acre or so of area that was yours with a little fire pit, little place for you to set up your tent on and all that. Well, there's something else that a lot of campgrounds have, and that's called a canteen. A canteen is kind of a campground version of a convenience store. Anyway, in this particular canteen, and Luther Manning remembers when I told this story before, um, there was everything you would normally need, between supplies, food, drinks, maybe camping supplies you didn't have, maybe some first aid kits, and some reading periodicals, which included comic books. But these weren't new comic books. There was a huge wall of older comic books, and these are the books I'm showing right now. These books were generally 4 years, 5 years old at this time. Books that at 12 I had not completely seen yet and was fascinated by them. So I inquired to the person that was at the register. I said, "Are those for sale?" No, they're not for sale. They're for rent. You pay us whatever's on the cover, and then we give you back that money when you bring the comics back. Oh, what happens if you don't bring the comics back? Well, then you don't get your money back and you're out. Wow. So my 12-year-old mind devised the plan immediately. Very deceptive, but those books were not coming back. There were about 35 or 40 books, mostly Marvels, and mostly Marvels from about 1968 to about 1970, maybe 67 to 70, but not much older than that, and certainly not newer than 1971. Well, I grabbed as many as they had, gave them the amount of money on the cover for the cover price for a deposit. 2 days later, I came in there sheepishly telling them that I had lost the comics. You lost the comics? How do you lose that many comics? I don't know. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, you're not getting your money back. So you've lost out. I said, yeah, I know. I'm really sorry. Well, don't feel sorry for us. We feel sorry for you. You're the one that gave us $10 and you won't get it back. I understand completely. Now, my dad inquired where I got all the comic books from. And he was like, "Where'd you get those from?" I said, "I got them from the canteen. They were for sale. They were really cheap." Okay. Well, that Monday we were getting ready to leave. It was Labor Day Monday. We were getting ready to go back home. And my dad said, "Let's go into the canteen and get an egg biscuit." And I really didn't want to go in. He goes, "Come on, let's go." I went in there. There was the woman. And I knew she was going to bring up the fact that I had lost all those comics, and that was it. And my dad was going to look at me and shake his head, and that was going to be the end of it. She didn't recognize me. My dad never said a word to her, and I made it back to Wharton, New Jersey, 35 or 40 comics richer. Most of what I had were the Fantastic Four. And I remember seeing these covers for the first time, and I was like, holy cats. Now, to be fair, comic dealers back then were probably selling these things after they were off the newsstands for about 20 cents a piece, maybe 5 cents above whatever the cover price is when they turn 15 cents. So it wasn't like a complete ripoff, although I carried some shame about the whole thing for a few hours anyway. But yeah, that's the story about how I acquired these comics. I knew that it was wrong. I paid them the money, what they wanted, and I don't think they really cared or really were aware. These comics were in fine condition, I'd say. Some of these obviously have been replaced through the years and upgraded. But that's my tale of acquiring comics at a campsite. Good old Camp Ernest in New York. I don't think it's gone. I don't think it's there anymore, but I still have most of the books. This is Alan Garrett. Thanks for listening.